Hey everybody, welcome to the G. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Koistina. This is where we talk about books, read books. No special effects here, no special anything going on. Just reading books, talking books here. And we're doing my 30 days of Janet Evanovich. Today we are doing 7 Up. And I've got this fantasy. I know it's not gonna happen, but I've got this fantasy and it's all up to you. I could use 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. I know it could be a Christmas miracle. Those of you who've already subscribed, most appreciative, but I still need 900 more. So come on, guys. I've been doing this all year long. I need some subscribers. So hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. So we've got Stephanie PLUM here. She's a bounty hunter, and her partner is Lula. And Grandma Mazur is our comedy relief. We don't get too much from her this time, although she does get kidnapped. Joseph, we get some marriage information going, but don't put too much stock in that. We've got Ranger here getting kissy face. Connie Rizzoli is the office manager. Vinny is the owner of the bond agency and will help her out in this case. Her parents make an appearance. Also, we got a new recurring character. She's been mentioned so often, you'd think she is a part of the family. Oh wait, she is part of the family. Valerie's here. We also get visits from Mooner and Dougie, and Eddie Gazzara, the cop friend, and Carl Costanza, the other cop friend. And of course, Rex makes his appearance, and Bob. Lots of Bob. So let's get going here. We start off, we had a little romantic interlude in the last book between Joe and Steph. And what's going on there, Chicky? You're awful active today. I would like to figure out, we're starting to put up our Christmas decorations, so don't be surprised if my tree shows up at some point. It looks better in person. No? No? Maybe? Maybe? No? What do you think? What do you think? Nope. Okay. So, there's a wedding proposal in the prologue. Don't put much stock in it. Vinny wants Stephanie to get a new FTA. Eddie Dechooch. Stephanie has a new car, a Honda CR-V. Don't put too much stock in that. Eddie Dechooch, the guy she's going after, has been dating her grandmother. So that's something new. Stephanie and Lulu go to his house and he escapes. Stephanie takes his keys, and there's 3 keys. There's the house key, there's the garage key, and there's the key to the shed. And when they open the shed, there's a dead body in it. Go figure. Loretta Luisi, so she calls police, and Carl Costanza goes, "You found another one." She goes back to the office. She goes, has dinner. They talk about Valerie. She goes home, and these guys, Benny Colucci and Ziggy, will haunt her the entire book. They are looking for Dechooch, so they figure if they hang out at her house, her apartment, she'll eventually lead them to Dechooch. Mooner interrupts her. He wants to show her his new lycra Superman costume. It doesn't have a hood. Bummer, dude. Her grandma calls her, and Eddie Dechooch came to a funeral of Anthony Vagra to pay his respects. So she goes to the funeral, for the viewing, and to let you know that, what is she eating? Smokey. Viewings are a form of entertainment in the Borg. That's where you get your gossip. The viewings, the deli, and the bakery, and the beauty parlor, where you get your gossip in the burg. So she goes and they get into a little issue there. Um, uh, Madeline sees Dechooch, says he killed her sister. He leaves. Um, Stephanie goes home and Morelli's there. He stays the night. He leaves Bob. The next morning, one of our amusements is taking Bob to Joyce Barnhart's to have his morning constitution. Um, she goes to the office. Dougie is missing, Mooner's friend. She believes he's been kidnapped and they're going to start looking for him. Joyce Barnhart arrives and she has a hissy fit over Bob's constitution on her front lawn. Lula and Stephanie go talk to Dechooch's nephew. Don't get much from him. Then she goes back to the house. Bob gets excited and greets her neighbor. Then she searches Eddie's house and finds nothing. Then she goes to Dougie's, Mooner's, and check out the house for any clues. Finding nothing, she goes to Dechooch again, finding nothing. Connie calls her, tells her that Dechooch has been involved in a heist of cigarettes. Then she goes back to Kruger's and double checks his inventory, and sure enough, there are cigarettes in the inventory. And it's a really long story how they got there. Joe and Steph have dinner, and they talk about the wedding, and Joe and Steph just say that they've decided, they haven't decided on a date yet, and I wanted to point this out to you. It's not the change, my mother shrieked. It's you. You make me crazy. She pointed a finger at my father. And you make me crazy. And you too, she said, glaring at me. You'll all make me crazy. Just once, I'd like to have dinner without talk of private parts and aliens and shooting. And I want grandchildren at this table. I want them here next year. And I want them here legally. You think I'm going to last forever? Pretty soon I'll be dead, and then you'll be sorry. Everyone sat slack-jawed and paralyzed. No one said anything for a full 60 seconds. We're getting married in August, I blurted out. The third week in August. We were keeping it a surprise. So that goes up on there. Then we get a little more. Have you been looking at dresses, Grandma asked. August doesn't give us much time. You need a gown, and then there's the flowers and the reception, and you need to reserve the church. Have you asked about the church yet? Grandma jumped out of her chair. I've got to call Betty Sajak and Marjorie Swit and tell them the news. No, wait, I said. It's not official. What do you mean not official? My mother asked. Not many people know, like Joe. How about Joe's granny? Does she know? I don't want to cross Joe's granny. She could put the jinx on things. Nobody can put the jinx on things, my mother said. There's no such thing as a jinx. Even as she said it, I could see she was fighting back the urge to cross herself. Besides, I don't want a big wedding with a gown and everything. I want a barbecue. I couldn't believe I was saying this. Bad enough I'd announced my wedding date, and now I had it all planned out. A barbecue, geez. It was like I had no control over my mouth. I looked at Joe and mouthed, help me. Joe draped an arm around my shoulders and grinned. The silent message was, sweetheart, you're on your own with this one. And then Valerie shows up. Can I have my paper? Oh. So Valerie arrives. Steve, her husband, has left her. He went with the babysitter, and she walks in with Angie and Mary Alice. And I have to tell you, the stuff with, I think it's Mary Alice that pretends to be the horse or the cow or whatever. It goes on a little too long, and it drives me crying. It goes on for a few books, and I want to know what the kids at her school thought. I mean, kids are vicious in school, and I wonder what they were saying to her when she walked around pretending to be a horse all day. Then on the way home from dinner, Morelli and Bob and I rode home in silence, no one knowing what to say. Morelli pulled into my slot, cut the engine, and turned to me. August, he said, his voice higher than usual, not able to keep out the incredulous. You want to get married in August? It just popped out of my mouth. It was all that dying stuff from my mother. Your family makes my family look like the Brady Bunch. Are you kidding me? Your grandmother is crazy. She gives people the eye. It's an Italian thing. It's a crazy thing. A car swerved into the lot, jerked to a stop, the door opened, and Muna rolled out onto the pavement. Joe and I hit the pavement at the same time, and they go save Muna. So, it goes on. Ziggy and Benny show up constantly throughout the book, and then uh, Connie does some investigating. Then her parents drag her to the bridal shop. Stephanie tries to talk to Dechooch several times. Then she gets a new FTA. Then she calls Ranger and Joe for advice, gets nowhere. Benny and Ziggy come over again. Valerie decides she wants to be a bounty hunter. Then, where is my notes? You're on my notes, you know. She asks Ranger for help. And, you know, I can't. This book didn't have many hysterical, funny moments like the previous ones did. But it's worth mentioning. She gets home, and Ranger's in her apartment. His voice was quiet, but as always, the authority was unmistakable. He was wearing black dress slacks, a long-sleeved, lightweight black sweater pushed up on his forearms, and expensive black loafers. His hair was cut very short. I was used to seeing him in SWAT dress with long hair, and I hadn't immediately recognized him. I guess that was the point. Are you in disguise? I asked. He watched me without answering. What's in the bag? An emergency cinnamon bun. What are you doing here? I thought we might make a deal. How bad do you want Dechooch? Oh boy, what did you have in mind? You find Dechooch. If you need help bringing him in, you call me. If I succeed in the capture, you spend the night with me. My heart stopped beating. Ranger and I had been playing this game for a while now, but it had never been articulated in quite this way. I'm sort of engaged to Morelli, I said. Ranger smiles. Then Morelli walks in. Then her and Morelli get to talking. One thing leads to another. And she says, hold it. Wait a minute. I said I can't do this with Mooner in the next room. Mooner's watching television. His hand cupped my pubic bone. He did something magical with his index finger. My eyes glazed over, and some drool trickled out of the corner of my mouth. The door is locked, right? Right. Morelli sighed. He had my pants down to my knees. Maybe you should check. Check on what? Check on Mooner. Make sure he's not listening at the door. I don't care if he's listening at the door. I care. Morelli sighed and rolled off. I should have fallen in love with Joyce Barnhart. She'd have invited Mooner in to watch. And then he goes out and Mooner's gone. But it's a really complicated story here. Apparently Dechooch was handling a cigarette heist by himself, and it went wrong, and someone died, and Mooch is hard of hearing, and the person said to bring the old fart to me, and Dechooch heard bring the heart to me, so he dug the heart out of the guy and then stuffed it in a cooler, and the heart was stolen. And this whole book is about retrieving the heart. There is one more couple of interesting moments. Don't ever get your hopes up about Joe and Stephanie, or Stephanie and Ranger. It's been 30 books, I can tell you. And, well, there is sort of a pretend wedding somewhere down the line. In Hawaii, too, by the way. Tank had gotten rooms in a classic two-story chain motel. Not luxurious, but not awful either. Both rooms were in the second floor. Ranger opened the door and hit the light, giving the room a quick scan. Everything looked in order. No madmen lurking in dark quarters. I'll come for you at 8:30, he said. We can get breakfast and then say hello to the ladies. I'll be ready. He pulled me in toward him, lowered his mouth to mine, and kissed me. The kiss was slow and deep. His hands were firm on my back. I gripped his shirt and leaned into him and felt his body respond. A vision of myself in the wedding gown popped into my head. Shit, I said. That's not the usual reaction I get when I kiss a woman. Okay, here's the truth. I really like to sleep with you, but I have this stupid wedding gown. Ranger's lips swept along my jawline to my ear. I could make you forget the gown. You could, but that would create really terrible problems. You have a moral dilemma. Yes. He kissed me again, lightly this time. He stepped back, and a small, humorous smile pulled at the corners of his mouth. I don't want to put any pressure on you and your moral dilemma, but you better hope you can bring Eddie Dechooch in all by yourself, because if I help you collect, I'll collect my fee. And then someone kidnapped Smooch, and someone has kidnapped Kruger, and everybody's looking for the heart, and cars get wrecked. Joyce Barnhart gets a broken leg. There's not too many. Grandma gets kidnapped. It's a really good book. It holds your attention. It's moving. I enjoy it thoroughly. I'm looking forward to Hard 8. We are doing 30 Days of Janet Evanovich to help me get through the holidays. I always go to my go-to support group books, J.D. Robb, Eve Dallas, and Janet Evanovich. There is a little something at the end that I was going to read. But I guess I won't. It was a convo. Very admirable, but it doesn't make me feel any better. Christ, I'm getting an ulcer. You've got me drinking bottles of Maalox. I hate this. I hate going through the day wondering what harebrained scheme you're involved in, wondering who's shooting at you. That's so hypocritical. You're a cop. I never get shot at. The only time I've had to worry about getting shot is when I'm with you. So what are you saying? I'm saying you're going to have to choose between me or the job. Well, I guess what? I'm not spending the rest of my life with someone who gives me ultimatums. Fine, fine. So they break up. First chapter, they're getting married. In the last chapter, they're not getting married. Are you having a good time? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. So, if you'll join me and my gal pal for 7-Up, 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 to get deadly, 4 score, high 5, hot 6, 7-Up, hard 8, to the 9s, 11 on top, sorry. We'll get it going there. Have a good one.